All right, welcome to your .LA weekly recap of the hottest news in the LA tech media and startup scene. I'm Kelly O'Grady, .LA's chief host and correspondent. I'm going to take you through just the headlines you need to know to stay smart in the space, so let's jump in. All right, baseball's back, and in addition to the tech makeover that Dodger Stadium got, you can now order your favorite ballpark food to your home. That's right, if you've ever dreamed of scarfing down a Dodger dog in your PJs on your couch, this is your moment. Our very own Ben Bourbon tried it out, and the verdict was that it's a novelty you should try once, but there are better ways to spend your $50 of delivery in Los Angeles. Okay, so next up, the electric car market is getting a lot of love as investors search for, what else, the next Tesla. And luxury electric car company Karma is looking to ride that wave of success. So the Chinese-owned automaker is looking to go public either through a merger or an IPO in the US or Hong Kong in the next 6 months, and it makes sense. A lot of consumers feel like Tesla is the Silicon Valley Camry. Now, speaking as a Camry owner, I don't think the comparison is exactly accurate, but the sentiment still remains. It feels like everyone in LA is driving one, and people want something different. So Karma is hoping to fill that void in the market. Check out our website for more exclusive details from Rachel Urenga. And in media, there was quite a bit of news this week as always. So Spotify and Comcast both released their earnings report. Even though Spotify's revenue was down due to the pandemic, listening was up, and NBC's Peacock hit 10 million subs after 3 months. But the streaming wars continues to be a heated competition. Heavyweight streaming services like Netflix and Amazon are fighting for supremacy with broad, everything for everyone models. And niche streaming services, by contrast, focus on a specific type of content for a specific audience. But is curation and community enough? There are arguments on both sides, of course. Content costs the same whether you are an everything for everyone or a niche model, and streaming fatigue is real for the consumers, I'm sure you'd agree. But fans of niche may grow frustrated with the larger, more expensive models in the process of trying to find that content that they want. So with all the stakeholders that have a say in this war, content creators, advertisers, service providers, our own Sam Blake is going to keep us updated as things develop. Now, unless you were living under a rock, you probably saw the soap opera play out in big tech this week. The CEOs of Facebook, Apple, Amazon, and Google all appeared before Congress, and it turns out even these titans have issues with their video conferencing, so we should all feel better when that happens to us. Now, there were two wildly disparate lines of questioning happening here, as tends to happen in government. One was around whether these companies have become too big, and the other is if they're silencing conservative sentiment online. Now, amidst all of these theatrics, Snap released their first diversity report, and the numbers weren't so great, and TikTok came out swinging. So they changed their $200 million content creator fund and upped it to $2 billion over the next 3 years. And CEO Kevin Mayer, in a blog post, promised increased transparency and took a not so subtle jab at Facebook. And last news headline for you, startup Density has raised $51 million. It started with the initial goal to avoid waiting in line at the founder's favorite coffee shop. Kind of interesting how that works out. They spent the next few years developing a system that, as it turns out, is ideally suited to the COVID-19 era, a way for companies to monitor exactly how many people are occupying a given space. Now, ultimately, they see themselves as an enterprise software company. They allow people to predict how people are going to move around spaces. And companies have been signing multi-million-dollar contracts to get at this. For more from Ben Bergman, check out our website. Okay, last thing, we released another episode of .LA Dives In. I chatted with Remote Work App CEO and founder Jordan Husney. We talked about how to create an authentic culture in a virtual world and how to make remote meetings actually useful amidst all the Zoom fatigue. We also hosted 2 awesome events, one on the mental health and wellness market and another on female founder stories, featuring Slingshot Aerospace and Toucan. If you want to watch any of those videos, hit up the links below. All right, that wraps up my weekly recap. For more on these stories, more news this week, and to check out the awesome virtual events we're hosting, visit us on our website, sign up for our daily newsletter, and be sure to follow us on Instagram so you don't miss our exclusive video content. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Kelly O'Grady for .LA.